All right. So
Spicy pickles!
those of you spicy pickles, it's secret conversation that's had behind the scenes. You're not allowed even. Um, but I would like to say for the record, if I may, and I may,
You may.
that it's been a pretty as crazy weeks go, it's a pretty crazy week. We'll talk to Philip Bittner in the next hour about what's happening in Ukraine, not the least of which is it looks like Kherson is about to fall. The Russians are retreating out of there. And that is, to you in the vernacular of the former guy, huge. It's huge. And and just to be clear, huge. Now, you know what wasn't huge this week
No.
besides Steve Bannon's luck in court? I suppose his legal bills were. Because your legal bills, I
Yeah.
believe that technically speaking, legal bills are more expensive when you lose, no matter how much they
Oh,
were.
yeah.
If your lawyer works for $1 and you lose, that's an expensive dollar.
Yep.
Right. Somebody keeps saying do your Getty Lee in the chat. I can't. It's too loud. I'll do it later.
We'll do it
Last
live.
last night yesterday on my live stream I sang a lot and I did my Getty Lee impersonation and it was pretty
Nice.
rock solid. And
Sure.
at one point someone typed in your Getty scared my cat. And I've decided that has to be a t-shirt. So I literally
Yes.
yesterday I started drawing on my iPad like an artistic rendering of those words. And
Your Getty scared my
your
cat.
Getty scared my cat will be a t-shirt soon. So anyways, you know who was also kind of a crap week for? Donald John Trump. So Donald Trump had to sit for a deposition in 2 cases this week.
Oh, he
One
really
was
did?
One was the E. Jean Carroll civil suit, and I believe that was Wednesday. The other was this really stupid leftover like class action lawsuit by people who bought this like video phone right before FaceTime took off that Trump was selling on The Apprentice
Oh, yeah.
and not totally telling people that he was a paid shill for the company. And he was like, it's the greatest thing. I use it all the time. It's just we stumbled across this, that kind of stuff. And it turns out, no, that's not the case. He was being paid to flim flam people as usual. He had no use at all for
And
the.
that's an SEC violation.
Oh boy,
Who just
is
got in trouble for that?
yeah. Who did?
Someone.
Yet another Republican. Well, one of the other.
No,
Yeah.
it was like an influencer. Oh, I think it was like Kim Kardashian.
Oh yeah,
or
Kim
something.
Kardashian for pushing cryptocurrency,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I don't know if you know this, Johnny Million, is complete crap. Cryptocurrency might be
What?
in about 500 years what we use instead of money once we've like inhabited other planets and we're part computer, all of us. We'll use blockchain exchanges of energy and information as a way of currency. But until we all have a chip in our head, people are going to largely like the idea of a suitcase full of cash, even if they
Yeah.
go, it's the fiat currency. Anyway, so crypto is garbage. And you know what's even bigger garbage, which is hilarious to me? This idea, that we'll start a whole conversation about the concept of the petrodollar and how idiotic that is. Because if there's a petrodollar, there's also a chip dollar and a corn dollar and a wheat dollar,
Ooh.
and like it's just what you use to exchange, just a trustworthy currency. It's not based on oil, it's just a large commodity that's traded. Shut up. Anyway,
Sounds
so
delicious.
other than that, I have no opinion. But in the meantime, the illusion that the BRIC countries minus India at this point are going to mainly Russia and China with Iran and possibly Brazil and maybe Venezuela are going to, and Cuba are going to start their own cryptocurrency and use that to trade amongst themselves instead of the US dollar. And I've talked about this a few times on my live stream, but all right, imagine you're any of the leaders of any of these countries. And there's a huge China development that I'm going to tell you guys this hour that was sort of mind-blowing and shocking, that happened during the 20th Party Congress that just occurred, where Xi Jinping is going to be, Mao clone for life. But the idea that these countries are going to put together a cryptocurrency that they're all going to agree on, and they're going to sit around a table, and China is going to let Russia pin this currency to their currency, or set up a round table of people that decides what its worth is worth, and operates a balanced currency exchange between the yuan and the ruble and the rupee and whatever Iran is using these days. I think it's just hand grenades. I think that's how everything is traded there, soup for hand grenades. And Brazil, like they're literally, each of those leaders, each of those countries is going to agree to let one or more of the other countries, namely two of them, namely China and Russia, but work it out between themselves and pick how much the magic cryptocurrency is worth and peg their currency to it to keep their currency afloat while they cadaver all the rest of the. Get out of here. Stop it. Just stop. Just listen to yourself and stop it. It's lunacy. So anyways, speaking of bad money, so Trump, after the Mar-a-Lago raid, the story was, oh my God, MAGA has come back home. After being in the wilderness and wandering around like a headless chicken dressed as Moses, they did not know, whether or not Trump.
Headless chicken dressed as Moses.
Yeah, there's 40-year headless chicken wandering around the desert, waiting for a sign from Jesus, Eric Trump. That the second son of the second son. That the idea is that after the Mar-a-Lago search and seizure, we're raid in quotes, that fundraising went through the roof. People were not having it. People were they were on fire. He had his biggest rally in almost a year right after that.
Oh, okay.
More people came to that one. It dropped off to literally less than 5% of that amount, or I guess 7% of that crowd at his next rally, and then down to 3% the following week. And now they're canceling rallies. But that spike meant that people, the maggots were horrified. They were upset. This cannot stand. This aggression will not stand, man. And they showed up and they started chucking money at him, going, well, we got to back Trump. He needs money to fight this off for his legal defense fund or what have you. Well, it turns out they earned somewhere in the order of $22 million in that 1 month stretch.
Wow.
But they spent 20.3 raising it. Donald Trump, art of the deal, mastermind, casino bankrupting mogul who, while is laughing all the way to the bank, mainly because he knows when he gets there, he's going to lose his mind, because even Deutsche Bank is doing what they call a managed exit of Trump's accounts. They've been doing it for a couple of years now, and they're committed to it. So Trump is losing all of his Deutsche Bank accounts, and he's got to find loans to get him out of there, or they're going to just cancel his lines of credit around the loans themselves, or call them due because they don't trust his numbers. Hilarious. Probably his worst problem. I mean, all like Jan 6 subpoena, which went out this week, all E. Jean Carroll case that even, he might have to submit DNA for that as part of discovery. Oh God.
Wowee.
The problem is he'll try to give a hair sample and it'll show up as, being like he's
Horse
synthetic.
hair.
Right. It's like this is alpaca hair. Wait a minute. She was we can exclude from this sexual assault an alpaca. I need people to, like the MAGA crowd, to understand this. Think about this for a second. Your hero, Donald John Trump, master businessman, mogul, and leader of the Republican Party, the figurehead of figureheads you've been waiting for, had to spend $20 million to earn $22 million.
Wow.
And was bragging that $22 million shows that, apropos of nothing, on an impulse of America first, freedom loving, what you have it, you guys, the MAGA crowd, started chucking money at him. Like, oh my God, I have to do this. That wasn't the case at all. Not to mention that the follow-up month, immediately after the information started to come out about what was in the raid, what they started to find, when you would think like this was the argument, everybody's lying, the FBI's after me. His whole story starts, right? He's selling this whole story the entire time. After that, you would think it would continue to go up. Not so much. As a matter of fact, it went down. It dropped immediately in 1 month to $5 million in a full take.
Wow.
In an election cycle close to the midterm, where, again, Donald Trump is the voice of the party and crucial to a myriad of elections, right? Without him, these folks won't get elected. It's an absurdity. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Parks Radio program, mega worldwide on WCPT Radio, Chicago's Progressive Talk.